Hello everybody, the Warm back again, and I'm here for some more 999, and we have a decision to make, interestingly enough. We must choose, as Junpei, whether or not we wish to enter door 5 or door 4. To quickly summarize, we recovered from the ninth man's death. Then we had a quick chat about the rules, including a very important contribution from Snake, who read aloud his Braille message from Zero. So everyone is now on the same page regarding the rules. We had a discussion about finally doing something, and we have now decided to go with it, to go through with it. We are now entering the doors. And so we have a group going into 5, a group going into 4. And for the group going into 5, I believe it's Ace, Clover, Snake, and 7, I believe. And going into 4 is Junpei, June, Santa, and Lotus, I believe. So, right as we are about to enter the door, Junpei seems to have had second thoughts. And he seems to have a thought that he needs to see the ninth man's corpse for whatever reason. I believe, can we go back to where we were? Yes, let's see. Oh, it says right there, yeah. Yeah, I remembered correctly. Okay. Or maybe he's about to say it. I think my save file was a bit behind where I
Beyond
was.
5 is what remains of the night.
Yes, here he says it.
I never want to see that thing again, but something's telling me that it'd be a good idea to examine the corpse, even just a little
Okay,
closer.
now. Am I recording? Yes. So here's a question I have. We have to. Here's something I'm not clear about. We are going to enter the doors, and it's the people who scan have to enter it. Yes, that's all good. The door will close after 9 seconds, and we have 81 seconds to find the dead, scan our bracelets against it, and deactivate the bombs. Got it. Understood. And we eventually have to leave. Yes, that's true. But how long do we just have forever to investigate the room once we've deactivated the or used the dead? And here's another question. Can we then go into door 5? Like, say Junpei's group goes into door 4, and then the other group goes to door 5. We do our thing, we both survive and walk back out. So, could Junpei and another group go into door 5? Would we have to do all their... I mean, I'm going to assume that for whatever reason that's not going to be an option, because the other group could just tell us, yeah, the dead's in that corner over there or something. So I'm guessing the game, something's going to happen where we're going to go and explore the room, and then we're going to leave, and then we're not going to be allowed to go into the rooms again. I imagine that's probably what's going to happen, because it would be too convenient if we could just investigate one room and go into another. I mean, if we could, that'd be fine. But the way that this is a choice, where we have to go to 4 or 5, is telling me that we're only going to get to see the one, and you won't be able to see the other unless you play again, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how this game is going to work structurally. I did recently play a game that had routes, but the routes would at times be closed off until you did other routes first. So I don't think I see anything like that here, but I guess I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Anyway, I think I'm going to go into door 4. I don't really feel like rocking the boat. You know, everyone has decided on what door they want to go to. We have our teams. Let's not try to jeopardize our burgeoning cooperation with last-minute, objections or anything. Let's just go through this door and see what's going on. I'm not sure what Junpei means when he says something's telling me it'd be a good idea to examine the corpse. Maybe to just see if the Ninth Man had anything on him, or to try and understand more about the bomb or the bracelet, which could be important, yes. So, I mean, I'll probably go back and do the other door eventually, right? My only question is, do I have to do that to get other endings, or I'm still not sure how this is going to work. So let's start by just doing door 4 and see where that takes us.
Of course, if I went through door 5, I wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. I could bring June with me through door 5, but that means she'd have to see the body in there. I don't want to put her through that.
Yeah. Of course, June is the only familiar. Junpei said he hasn't seen her in, since childhood, but still, I can imagine going through such a crazy situation, having one familiar face must be so. It's like what am I thinking? It's a stabilizing force, the fact that something here is familiar. When everything else is so crazy, so I can see why he'd feel defensive over her. Junpei was torn.
Should I stay silent?
Let's just go. I already went through this part.
All right then. It seems we've reached a conclusion.
Okay.
Where
The door.
I
Just go. Okay, so yeah, let's stick with door 4. Yeah. Decided that door 4 would be fine. I will be curious to see if door 5 is now blocked to us for the rest of the playthrough.
I'll go through door 4 with Lotus, Santa, and June. There's nothing to worry about.
I'm not sure about that, Junpei.
I just need to stay by her side.
June. Akane Kurashiki.
This should be fine. It's no problem this way.
Well, you were planning on bringing her to the other room. Regardless, you were planning to keep her with you, right?
I should see the other 4 off.
He made no show of affection, but Junpei saw her as something more than just a friend from his childhood. Does he?
Looks like Ace and the others are going.
I wonder what that is meaning specifically. Looks like Ace is going, yeah. He watched the other 4 walk toward their door. Ace, Snake, Clover, and 7. Junpei said nothing as they left. So much for seeing them off, I guess. Excuse me. Before long, they had reached door 5. They talked to one another for a few seconds, saying things Junpei couldn't hear, and then laid their hands one by one on the scanner panel of the red. Good luck, guys.
Now then.
I'm really curious what we're gonna see in here, because presumably it's gonna be a puzzle like the very first room we woke up in was. Ace grabbed the lever, his face tight with determination. He turned over his shoulder to look at Junpei and his companions.
Goodbye.
I would rather see you soon, hopefully.
Be careful.
So I forget, does the timer start immediately, or it must start immediately, right? So they have 81 seconds. Like, run in there, guys. Get in there quick. As Ace pulled the lever, the door swung open, the mouth of a great hungry beast.
So horrible.
Beyond the door, Junpei knew, lay the sad remains of the ninth man. It did not surprise him that Ace, Clover, and Seven hesitated. The body was not a pleasant thing. And of course...
What are you doing? We need to hurry.
Yeah, he knows. We should have had a little pep talk before going in where we said, guys, remember, 81 seconds, when we pull the lever, ignore the body, just go. Snake had no such problems, as his blindness made him immune to the horror. He stepped through the door, his feet making a wet splack sound in the pool of blood.
Snake, your shoes.
It's fine. Hurry! Or are you planning on dying with everyone else? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds, have you?
Sorry, Snake.
Let's go.
The three remaining steeled themselves and stepped through the door. Okay. Door 5 swung shut, closing with the heavy finality of metal upon metal. Junpei and his companions scrambled to the door.
Hey! How is it over there? Did you find anything? Please say something, will you?
I think we should let them work, Santa. Let's not distract them as they go about this.
Something's beeping.
It's just like before.
Probably the sound of the detonator on the bracelet.
Do you think they're okay?
How long has it been? June's face showed her concern more plainly than her words ever could. Almost as though in response to her question, a voice rang out from the other side of the door. It was Seven.
Hey, there it is! That's gotta be that dead thing! Come on, get over here! We gotta authenticate!
The beeping. Stop.
They got it. Sighs of relief were audible even through the heavy... So I guess we're not doing it at the same time. I guess we didn't have to, but... Huh. Okay. Then we didn't really need to make teams, per se. We could have all just waited. We could have, volunteers for each time. Well, never mind. Let's just go through their thought process.
Phew. Looks like it stopped.
Good work, guys. Junpei and his companions leaned away from the door and breathed a collective sigh of relief of their own.
Hey, guys! Are you doing all right over there?
They'd heard Seven's voice, but it wouldn't hurt to be sure.
Yes, we're fine.
Despite the recent danger, Clover's voice was as bubbly as ever.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna tell you about this whole dead thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Dead is just like the red, but the color's different.
Let me guess. Blue?
You know how the red was red?
Yes.
Well, the dead is blue.
Hey, there it is.
Other than that, it's just like the red. Authenticating is the same too.
Cool, so just as we thought.
Awesome! Thanks. That helps a lot.
There we go.
Well, we should probably move on now.
We've made progress. Feeling good. So move on now. Now, here's a question. They're not coming out? Is there another door in the room that they go into? Interesting.
You be careful out there.
Roger that.
Junpei and the others left door 5 and headed toward door 4.
Now it's our turn.
Interesting. So it's not that it's just a room. It's you go from one place to another. It's not a hallway probably, but it's, well, we'll see. We should just see.
I'll go first.
Okay. All right, we're doing this. Steel yourselves, everyone. We got this, okay? And we can't let Team 1 show us up. They stood in front of the red and placed each of their hands upon it. Four asterisks appeared on the screen. Junpei grabbed the lever and turned around.
Okay, We ready?
81 seconds, guys. We got this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go.
None of them looked particularly optimistic, but their faces were set. Junpei nodded to them and turned back toward the red.
All right. Let's go.
With strength and determination, he pulled the lever. All right, go, go, go. Get in there.
Run!
4 of them leapt through the door together. Oh, it is a hallway. It is, in fact, a hallway. The moment they passed through it, each heard a cold electronic sound coming from their left wrist.
Oh, damn.
In the center of each bracelet, a red skull appeared and began to flash.
It's counting down.
Don't need to say the obvious, Junpei. The detonator's countdown had begun. In the long moment that each of them had spent staring at their wrists, the numbered door behind them closed, the sound of metal on metal reverberating down the hallway.
We can't go back!
Yeah, we've already established this. Keep your head in the game, Santa.
We need to hurry and find the device.
Yep, let's go.
Hey! Where the hell is the dead?
How would I know?
Crap, do we have to search through all these doors? This is gonna be... Everyone take a door, let's go.
Don't give me that crap! Start looking!
I already am.
They began to run, eyes looking frantically for the device that was the key to their salvation. The hallway they found themselves running down was a long one, easily 300 feet in length. On the right side of it stood a series of wooden doors, all nearly identical. If they had taken the time to think, they would likely have discerned that the doors led to cabins.
Don't tell me the dead is in one of those rooms.
No time to talk, Junpei. Just, you gotta go.
Oh no! How many rooms do you think there are?
June, not important. Each of you take a room, and keep going. Junpei was too frightened to count properly, but at his best guess there were 7 or 8 of them.
Ah, fuck! We don't have time to count.
No, you don't. You just need to go. Junpei ran to the nearest door.
We just need to open them all.
Yep. He grabbed the knob, shook it hard.
It won't open.
Oh, crap. They didn't feel locked, more like someone had hammered an iron plate over the other side of the door. Junpei turned around to find another door and saw that his companions had already run to the doors of their own. They did not seem to be having any more success than he had. Their own words confirmed his fears.
Shit, this one's no good.
Same here. It's not moving.
June was the last to speak up. As Junpei looked in her direction, his eyes caught something he hadn't noticed before. A small red blinking light.
There it is, at the end of the hallway. Run!
At the very end? Okay. Even as he yelled, he ran. He grabbed Santa, Lotus, and June and pulled them toward the light. Santa called out to him as he ran.
Hey, how many more seconds do we have?
Not something to worry about. Just run.
How would I know?
Our time limit is 81 seconds.
Yes, we know that, June. Just go.
I know that, goddammit! I'm asking you how many seconds we have left!
Inconsequential. Just go. Don't think. Just run. In all likelihood, Junpei figured nearly a minute had passed since the door had closed behind them. If that was true... There it is. Urgency foremost in their minds, they arrived at the end of the hallway. The dead sat on the left wall, blinking almost tauntingly at them.
Hurry! It's the dead! Get over here!
Junpei grabbed hold of the machine, his hands slick with sweat and shaking. He slammed his fist against the scanner
Come
panel.
on, everyone!
The other 3 quickly followed suit. With a grunt, Santa yanked the lever downward.
Looks like it stopped.
We did it, guys. His hands beginning to steady. Junpei wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his forehead. Man, so the fact that in door 5 we could still hear them and they still talk to us. They didn't have a hallway too, did they? It must have just been like a room because they could just talk to us. But we had to run like 300 feet. Theirs sounded a lot easier. Yeah. So wait, I have a question. I just thought of something. Let me know if this is off base. The 9th guy went into door 5, correct? He went into door 5 using Ace, Clover, and his bracelets, right? Then he walked into the room, and presumably because it was just him, he couldn't authenticate the dead, and then he just exploded, right? Here's my question. How come Clover and Ace didn't explode? Is it only when you step into the room does it activate? I would have thought that once you pull the lever and the door opens, you're kind of on the timer. But is that not the case? Do you have to enter the room? I mean, if you have to enter the room for the countdown to start, then that's fine. That explains that. But if you all authenticated the red and pull the lever and it just starts, then that's weird, because Ace and Clover should have exploded, but they didn't. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. I don't remember if they specified that. If they specified that earlier, let me know. But if they didn't say anything about it, then don't tell me. I'm kind of just musing here. Something maybe to keep in mind. It could just be you have to enter the door for the countdown to start. But Snake did urge everyone on, saying the countdown had started. I don't know. Something to keep in mind, maybe. Yeah. So this is interesting. So we are going into a new area, even though back at the previous area we had the doors with the astrological symbols on it and those elevators. So the metal doors won't let us go back. So how are we eventually going to get back there? Okay, let's move on. As they caught their breath, the 4 companions began to look around.
There's another door at the end of the hallway.
He could see a heavy-looking set of double doors, not metal ones this time. Set into the walls of the hallway on either side of the large door were 2 smaller ones. These ones?
Let's try this one first. And of course it won't open.
How many times had he come across similar doors with similar results, he wondered. Or perhaps, he corrected himself, more a lack of results. Whatever the reason, the door remained firm and unyielding and refused to allow Junpei, or anyone else, passage.
A keyhole.
Ooh. Is this meant to be, hang on, let me guess. Is this Mars? Because I know, like, the male and female symbol are Mars and Venus, right? And I think this is Mars.
What's this mark? Male?
He wasn't quite sure what to make of it. June will let us know, and stared at it for a moment in confusion. It was June that corrected him.
No, not exactly. That's probably the symbol of Mars.
I'm not into astrology, but I know some trivia.
Well, technically, they are the same symbol.
Yeah. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, that sort of thing.
But I saw a number of similar symbols near the main stairway.
Yes, so we can assume this is part of the same astrological pattern we've been seeing.
The symbols of the solar system.
Oh, that's right. The sun.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn. and Earth.
At least that's what I'm assuming.
So let me write that down. Let's see. Mars. Okay. We'll have to ask the guys on the other side what if their door had one too.
So this isn't the man symbol. It's a symbol for Mars?
Well, as she just said, it's become interchangeable in that sense.
I think so, yes.
But yes, in this context, I believe it's for Mars.
I see. Wait, where's Santa?
Santa? Well, Junpei and June talked. Santa had disappeared. Did he go back to... Interesting. They turned to find him some distance down the hallway. He had gone to check the other doors. Which, fair enough. Fair enough. We have time now, right? This was part of what I was wondering. Eventually, he reached the last of them and jogged back. Well, it took only a moment for him to catch his breath.
Yeah, so, I looked the place over.
They're all stuck, right?
Here's the deal. None of the other doors open.
Yeah.
Then that must mean...
We only have 2 more doors.
These ones. This big one. Lotus examined the doors on either side of the larger double door. Each one had a metal plate attached to it.
Maybe it's the room number.
Oh, you meant the ones on the sides. B92, B93?
The door on the left has a B92,
So are we on B deck right now?
and the one on the right says B93. Alright, let's open them. I'll open B92.
Okay, I'll get B93 then.
Junpei put his hand on the doorknob, and Santa moved to the other door. They'd made it through the numbered door alive. There was nothing more to be afraid of. Junpei and Santa looked at each other and nodded.
1, 2, 3!
In unison, they pushed against their respective doors. Oh! And promptly found themselves in a new room. June followed Junpei as he threw his door open. They turned around and saw that the door on the other side of it was open as well. Through the door was another person, his mouth agape. It was Santa.
Hey, it opened.
Yeah, it did.
Junpei and Santa looked at each other.
I didn't expect that.
It was so easy.
Lotus's calm voice broke into their thoughts.
Maybe this is all part of Zero's plan.
Probably. Considering how intricate all of this seems to be, I think that's probably a fair bet, yes.
Can't say I enjoy being treated like someone's puppet.
As she headed for room 93, Lotus continued.
Well, now we have these 2 rooms. I'm sure there's something in there that will help us get out of here.
Well, we won't know till we investigate.
Let's find it. Santa and I will search this room. You 2 take the other one.
Or we could all search one room together and search the other room together, but okay, we're saving on time by doing 2 at once. I get it.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh. Seek a way out. Here's our puzzle, I guess. Ooh. How am I doing on time? I have time. Okay. Room 92. Let's see. Here's our entrance. Right? We have a kind of entrance area with a door heading into the bathroom. And then a kind of lounge area. And then a bedroom. This is kind of nice accommodations. And we start here. Now this is much more relaxing than I was expecting. Okay. Let's just drop a save. Alrighty, let's see. We have... Oh, we don't have voice acting anymore. It's kind of a weird looking picture. Do you think it's an abstract painting or something? Demon with an elephant nose. Ah, you have quite the imagination. Where the hell did that come from? What's a brain made of? Can't say I'd mind finding out a little more about what goes on in there. Not sure what to do with that. This face looks expensive. I wonder how much we can get it for. Get for it. You gonna steal it? Empty. Yeah, the bathroom. Sure. Let's try the bathroom first. Oh. Okay. So, is this the shower curtain? Shower head? Light blue bathroom machine. To the knobs. So putting soap on. I used a shower once, so I know. Well, I'm glad you've used a shower once, at least. Shower knob? Let's see. No water. Yeah, considering the ship appears to be in mid... I don't know, sink? I wouldn't count on much working in here. What? Oh, what am I clicking? It's a bathroom wall. Square tiles over it. Geometric shapes. Oh, okay. I was a bit confused. So we walk straight to the shower. Shower curtain, so let's try closing it. Now I can see the full expanse of the shower curtain in all its waterproof glory. Nothing. What's suspicious? Why is that suspicious? A narrow shower. I'm standing in it, which... Not the time, Junpei. This is awkward. Time to open the curtain. We got some full and partially depleted rolls of toilet paper. Someone was well prepared. Nothing too suspicious about it. So, nothing really in here. Let's go back to the living room. Well, true, but I feel like after that whole run and tense situation, you can at least sit down for a minute or two. I think that'd be fine. Matches. It's a box of matches. Oops, what was that? Sorry, I skipped that. He said something funny, I guess. Probably like something small. Junpei looked down blankly at what he was holding and then up at June.
Oh yeah, how's your fever? You feeling better now?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. June certainly looked fine.
Let me see your forehead.
Junpei held his hand on her forehead for a few seconds.
Guess it really has gone down.
Are you worried about me?
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting this. What is this, a romance novel? Well, we're gonna go ahead and do... What should I do? 6. Number 6 will be the romance save. Yeah, let's not lie. I know Junpei's inner feelings. Even though they're not extreme or anything, but I'd say he does care about, is worried about her. Let's be honest. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I am.
June blushed and giggled.
By the way, Jumpy.
Hmm?
How did you end up here?
Well, same way as everyone else, right?
What do you mean? I told you earlier, didn't I?
There was a man with a gas mask when you got home at night. You inhaled some white smoke and passed out. When you woke up, you were on D-Deck.
Look at this. I don't think... Was this here before? It looks like an F, but the bottom of the lever is curled like the top, and 2 dots. I do not know this symbol, if it means anything. Like a double F. An F and combined with an upside down F or something.
Damn straight.
But is that really the truth?
I beg your pardon?
What?
Jumpy, are you hiding something from me?
Well, June, as speaking from someone who is from Junpei's perspective and has been in his brain, if he is hiding something, he's not doing it on purpose.
No, why would I?
Well, if you think about it, this is awfully suspicious.
You mean the fact that you two are here specifically?
I mean, why would 2 childhood friends bump into each other in a place like this?
True, that is a good question. Of course, you could just as easily say, why are there 2 siblings here? Although, in that sense, if they were living together, then they'd be in the same place, and maybe they were taken that way, but then why target them in the first place, you know? So we're not the only one with a connection, June.
Hey, I could ask you the same thing.
Okay, let's calm down.
Are you hiding something?
What would I hide?
Well, look, you're coming out asking him. He has a right to ask you.
Well, I don't know. Anything. I mean, you're hiding it. How would I know?
You mean like the number of men I've dated?
Okay, June, where are you going with this? Junpei's heart stumbled over itself.
Do you want to know?
He had to admit, he was a little curious.
Don't worry.
She smiled at him.
Only 18.
Only 18, you say?
Times 0.
Ah. Clever girl.
Yeah. I guess I just haven't met Mr. Right yet.
Okay, yeah, but a second ago you really were questioning Junpei pretty seriously. I'm not going to forget that, June. June looked a little embarrassed and scratched the back of her head in a desperate attempt to seem nonchalant.
Yeah, I see.
Junpei coughed quietly in much the same way.
Anyway, I'm not hiding anything. Just like you, Jumpy.
So do you believe him when he says he's not?
When I woke up, I was on D-Deck.
Well, you do have a point. I mean, why did Zero pick us? We haven't seen each other since elementary school.
I wonder.
June nodded, and for a few moments she had the faraway look of someone deep in thought.
Look for what connects the victims. That will lead you to the culprit.
The issue is, I don't really know much about the victims yet. Curiously, Seven was being awfully cagey when it came to talking about how he got here. We were all talking about... We were all saying we all ended up here in kind of the same way, and yet Seven hesitated, but then he kind of just hand-waved it away.
Do you remember Seven saying something like that?
Yeah, I do. So?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this must all have something to do with a classmate of ours.
a classmate specifically between you and Junpei?
You got any ideas who it might be?
No, nothing.
I'm curious if it's like a pair thing, because there's June and Junpei, there's Clover and Snake, but none of the others have have said they're connected to anyone. So,
Oh,
Well, if it had something to do with school, then it could be one of our teachers, or maybe the principal.
yeah, but how does that connect with everyone else? I mean, we don't know June and Junpei. We don't know anyone else here. We just know each other. What would the connection be to those people?
or the janitor, or the lunch lady.
Oh, I can barely remember any of them.
Yeah, I know.
Junpei went back to searching, feeling unpleasant and confused. Yeah, that conversation was a bit off. Elementary school. Elementary school? Was there anything strange that had happened in elementary school? As he searched the room, he continued to rack his brain. Display case, but there's nothing being displayed. How sad. Drawers are empty too. How come I can't examine that bottle thing? Okay. Oh, map is for this. So we never gonna get a map of the whole ship. It's just gonna be maps for the... Huh. Well, that's kind of disappointing. Okay. It's a light. Thanks to what we can see. This dresser, there's nothing particularly interesting about it. This is the mirror of the dresser. Now she's playing with her hair. Does she even realize she's doing that? Hey, we don't have time for that. Come on, it's not like there's anyone here you need to impress. Yes, there is. Who? What? Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? Haha. It's a dresser. There's nothing on top. A key. Dresser key. Combined with matches. Another similar dresser, you say? Cupboard. Inside, surprising no one. Water. This is his bedroom. They probably have it here because their throat always dry. Yeah. My throat's dry, but I think it's because I'm a little nervous right now. We did run a lot, so I'm kind of sweaty. Take a shower together. Whoa! Too late to take it back. My brain's already working out the picture. Throat was dry already. This sure isn't helping. This isn't a painting, it's a map. Take the map. Take the map. Show it to me. I want to see it. This is a great find. It'll be really useful. Map screen. Oh, yeah. During story set. Okay. It's the best of both worlds. I have a map during these and a map during the thing. Ship's floor plan, clicking green flower parts. You see the birds that get that room. Junpei took one last look at the map, then folded it up and slid it back into his pocket. Junpei looked up as he closed it.
This ship is bigger than I thought.
I mean, if it's a recreation of the Titanic, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's probably about 900 feet long.
900 feet, and we just ran 300?
Must be one of those fancy cruise ships.
Of course, it doesn't really look like a cruise ship. Everything in here is really retro. Even if it's just some sort of style choice, there's just too much.
What year is it? Was that ever mentioned?
Do you remember what Zero said? Do you think maybe this boat and the Titanic have something to do with each other?
I would think that's probably somewhat likely, yes.
That's a good point. I doubt he would have mentioned it if there wasn't a reason.
Also, they keep saying he, and again, this is just, I'm gonna say Zero sort of sounds like a woman. Just because the intonation, the way Zero speaks, it sounds like if it's a woman's voice that's being distorted, but I could be wrong. I'm not like an expert on voice distortion. It sounds like it's a higher voice that's being made lower, if you get what I'm saying. Of course, by that, it could just be a younger person, which that comes with a whole lot of other questions if that's the case. But I think it's very presumptuous that everyone keeps saying he for Zero. Junpei Zero. Did I say hero? Zero. I don't remember. Sorry. Junpei took a moment to look around the room.
Do you think this boat is...
Having a replica of an exact replica of the Titanic is already a stretch. This is even more of a stretch, Junpei. I'll go with the more reasonable option.
a replica of the Titanic?
A replica?
Yeah, you know, like a copy of the actual boat.
Who on earth would make something like that?
That's my question, June.
Fans. Crazy Titanic fans.
Crazy Titanic fans.
No way. Do you even know how much money that would take?
Yes, which is why an episode or two ago, I can't remember how long, Ace was it Ace or Lotus that was wondering, they said that, if it's Ace or Lotus, I can't remember which, they said, it has to be a millionaire, you know? Someone with a lot of money or capability to do something like that.
No idea. But all they've got to do is break even, you know?
How's that?
Break even?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, they could use it as a cruise ship.
Oh my goodness, that would be very inauspicious. I would not take a cruise on Titanic 2.
Climb aboard a piece of history, sail around the world in the resurrected Titanic.
I get that, and there'd probably be people who definitely would do that. I am not one of them.
Hell, with marketing like that, they'd probably have more customers than they know what to do with.
Do you really think people would want to ride on a ship with such an ominous past?
Yeah, I'm sure some would, though. Look, there are so many people in this world. I am sure you could find quite a few who would.
It's the site of the worst accident in history.
But there's also, you know, the movie Titanic, so I'm sure there are plenty of fans who would want to, you know, would go for the movie, not the history, you know?
Over 1,500 people died. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd get cursed just for going.
A curse, huh?
Jumpy, do you believe in that sort of thing? You know, curses and stuff?
Depends. Interesting that we get to make these sorts of decisions. I'm gonna be curious. I'm curious just how important these decisions are. 'Cause now I'm not answering like a fact question. Now it sounds like I'm answering a question that is sort of deciding how Junpei believes. So that, like the question involving Akane just a short while ago, where he says he's worried about her, and now this. So depending on my answer, it's sort of it's deciding what Junpei believes, I guess. Maybe I'm going too much into that. and that's not the case. Curses and stuff. I'd like you to be a bit more specific, but... Sure. Why not? I do.
Yeah, well, I guess so. To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. Junpei scratched his temple.
What about you? No, I guess that's kind of a dumb question.
Yes, I do believe in curses. In fact, I think it was a curse that sunk the Titanic.
Mm-hmm. Can you be more specific, please?
What?
A curse sank the Titanic.
You have a very strong opinion on this matter.
The curse of the Egyptian mummy.
I beg your pardon again? Okay, no. She talked about astrological stuff earlier. Is this just her wheelhouse? Curses, astrology. This is just her thing. She's into the occult. That's what I'm getting at here. I get it. I see what she's saying. So this is just interesting. Okay. I'm going to write that down. Is into the occult. Egyptian curse. Interesting. Okay. Well, we at least we learned this side of her. Junpei couldn't understand how June had maintained a straight face to say that.
Supposedly, the Titanic carried the mummy of the priestess Amun-Ra,
A priestess Amun-Ra, you say?
which was stolen from a pyramid. And they say that the mummy had a history.
Well, I feel like it would be weird if it didn't.
Everyone involved with it died mysterious deaths.
I see. The mummy's curse, yes.
Come on, I'm sure you've heard of it before.
I have, in fact. Yes, I have.
Those who open the coffin will be forever cursed. Haven't you ever heard that one?
Something like that.
So you're saying the Titanic sunk because of that curse?
That's right!
June's eyes had lit up with excitement like a child with a new toy.
That mummy, the priestess, supposedly, she was special.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Well, supposedly, she was really pretty.
Pretty?
Yes?
But she was a mummy.
She was a very pretty mummy, Junpei. Pay attention now.
That's right. She wasn't all shriveled up or rotten or anything. She almost looked alive.
Now that would be something.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, it's that thing. I don't remember the name. Where your body turns into some kind of wax? Yeah?
So, is it whatever they did with Lenin? Something?
The fat in it turns into something kind of like candle wax, right? And
That's probably not what she means, Junpei.
Yes, saponification.
Oh, no.
But that's not what it was.
She does know what that is, but that's not what she means. Yes.
Huh?
That's not it. She wasn't wax.
Then what was it?
They say that she was frozen.
But you don't mean like ice frozen. You mean something else.
What? Frozen?
That's right. The whole body was frozen solid.
Or do you mean like ice?
You know how a human body is more than 60% water? Well, all of that water was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic, even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
That's crazy.
I think so too, but maybe it's true and we just didn't know about it before.
I didn't know?
Yep. Maybe it's common sense to eat shaved ice in the desert because it lasts forever.
Huh? Nah, that seems too silly to be true.
But maybe it isn't. It just appears that way because you didn't know it was true.
Well, yeah.
June and Junpei talked a little more, and then went back to their bed. The conversation just fell away. But even as he did, as they did, his mind went back to what she'd told him.
Ice that doesn't melt, even in the desert? Does something like that really exist?
Well, I don't know, Junpei. I know deserts are extremely hot during the day, yes, but they actually get, I think this is right, deserts at night get extremely cold. Is that right? I think I've heard that before. But it's like dangerously so. It's not just it's not like it's relief or anything. It can be dangerous. Maybe did I make that up? I feel like I've heard that before. So maybe there's something weird behind this, but I'm not sure.
No, even if it did, it wouldn't really be ice anymore, would it?
The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. So, obviously, this is she's given us this occult story and everything. The question we have to ask ourselves is, why is this story being told to us? Is it just to reveal June for being really into the occult? Or is there something deeper here? Is there a hint within the story of this priestess? Like he'd eaten his ice cream too fast. And we're just back at it. Bed. Light blue. Someone's made the bed, never unmade it. So exciting. Two pillows right next to each other. Guess it's a double. Huh? What's up? You're turning red. Oh man, is her fever back? Get your mind out of the gutter, girl. Are you alright? Do you need to lay down for a minute? Careful, Junpei. Don't set her off. Seriously, are you really okay? Bed frame. What the hell is she thinking about? Okay. Light. That's light. Okay. Let's find a drawer we can open. Is there any drawers in here? No, no. Dang it. Getting turned around. Can we... Give me a minute, I was just gonna check up on them. Interesting. So I can go to the other room. I was wondering about that. Nice. Look at this. Hey, Santa. Squirt tile in this frame. Okay, so obviously some kind of connection with the other picture. Bathroom wall, the whole wall is covered in squirt tiles. Same as ours. It's a shower head, silly. Two rolls. No shower curtain. But the other one does. Yeah. Interesting. That's interesting. So where's the curtain? Door's open. Hey. It's a candle. Iron candlestick. It's probably a big brand. That's probably going to help us search that dark room. This display case, check it out. Tempered glass, you say? Huh. Well, I have the key. Oh. Never mind. It's tile. Yeah, it looks like the thing. Are we gonna have to build the same painting as on the other side? Okay, let's go ahead and do the obvious thing. Hey, there we go. It'll help with dark places. Like this room. Good idea. There we go. Yeah, but it didn't look that dark to begin with, guys. Yes. Hey, one of the pieces. Nice. Some bottle of water. What's wrong with the cupboard? Really? Picture of an old cruise ship. Is it the Titanic again? What is that? Hey, there's the curtain. Shower curtain. Waterproof. Waterproof. What are we gonna do with that? Haha, very funny. A candle? What? That was really quick, huh? Interesting. Oops. That's probably for this. Yes, it opened. Let's get plate number 2.
Hey, Junpei, you got a minute?
What's up, Santa? Santa had shown up out of nowhere and gave Junpei a small start.
Here, take this.
Santa pulled out something out of his pocket.
bookmark?
Clover, huh? Looked like a bookmark. It had a 4-leaf clover in it.
What is this for? Do you want me to read a book?
I found it in between some of the cushions on the sofa. Pretty sure it ain't gonna be any help to us, but I figured we might as well hang on to it anyway.
And you want me to be the... what? Rucksack of the group?
Then why don't you hold on to it?
Yeah. Santa gave him a wry smile.
You know what I hate most in the world?
Where are you going with this, Santa?
I got 4 things.
Interesting, okay.
Hope, faith, love, and luck.
Okay.
Hope, faith, love, and luck?
Sure. Go ahead, Santa.
Damn straight.
And you hate these things?
And you felt the need to tell me this, too. Oh, 4-leaf clover luck. Okay. That seems kind of weird and kind of petty, but alright.
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
Not really, but
Junpei tried to figure out how best to phrase what he wanted to say. I want to hear this.
what does a bookmark have to do with any of that?
Well, it's probably the clover. Santa scratched the back of his ear and looked awkward.
Well, see, each leaf on the four-leaf clover has a meaning to it, okay? And that meaning is pretty much those 4 words. It's like flower language. Well, I guess it's not a flower, is it? So, leaf language, I guess? Yeah, you could call them leaf words.
Leaf words.
Junpei looked at the bookmark.
Hope, faith, love, and luck. The meaning of the leaves on a 4-leaf clover.
Where is this going?
So, yeah, I want you to take it, okay? Just touching it gives me the creeps. Take the damn thing, all right?
Santa pretended to shiver with disgust and shoved the bookmark into Junpei's confused hands.
Here.
What? These have been some pretty strange decisions I've had to make. I wonder how this is all gonna figure into this. I mean, sure, I don't see any reason not to. Decided to take it. After all, why shouldn't it? Yeah. Well, now that you phrased it like that, now I'm worried something's gonna happen.
Alright, sure. I'll take it.
He shoved the thing into his pocket and gave Santa a last confused look.
Oh, man, I feel a lot better now. That thing was a real pain, you know?
No, I don't know.
Do you really hate those 4 words that much?
Yeah, well, they can all betray you, you know?
How old are you, Santa?
Hope, faith, love, even your destiny.
What had happened to Santa, Junpei wondered. How had he become such a bitter person? For a moment, they looked at each other.
Well, that's not my only reason.
What?
That's not the only reason I hate the 4-leaf clover. I just can't bring myself to like the number 4.
Is this that thing I mentioned?
What, worried about the 4 horsemen?
Nah, come on, man. That's just silly.
Yeah, you say that.
Maybe back in the Dark Ages, that kind of crap scared people. This is the 21st century, and I'm a 21st century guy.
Okay, so we're in the 21st century. That's good to know.
I'm a little insulted.
Then why do you hate 4 so much?
'Cause it's a half-ass number.
I beg your pardon?
Not the best or the worst. That's why.
What's the best and the worst?
What?
9 is a way better number.
Okay.
So what if it's last place, right? At least it's not some lame-ass middle number.
What? 9 is last place?
What are you...
Santa's explanation made no sense. Junpei was even more confused than
You
before.
play?
play?
I'm guessing he means gambling.
You mean like gambling?
Yeah, of course. What else would I mean?
I see. So he's not a raving madman. He has some interesting tastes.
In Baccarat, the best possible hand totals 9. They call it Le Grand. But the lowest, most worthless cards, zeros, they call Monkey.
Can't say I've ever played. Sorry.
Just like the guy in charge of this game, huh? Zero's a monkey.
Zero's a monkey. Santa blinked utterly stunned.
What?
Then he began to laugh.
Oh man, you're totally right.
Hey, at least Junpei and Santa can connect a bit. This is nice.
The guy who trapped us in here sure is one hell of a monkey.
Yeah. That was when Lotus spoke up.
You know, if you think about it, the nonary game is really a lot like Baccarat.
Oh yeah? Apparently she'd been listening.
And of course, it doesn't use any of that stupid digital root junk. You just drop the tens digit, and that's it. Still, it does have the same idea of your final number needing to be a single digit.
Oh, yeah, I guess you got a point.
Again, haven't played Baccarat, don't know the rules.
And in both games, whoever has 9 wins.
Well, we already lost 9, so I guess this is not the same.
The person who makes 9 wins?
Although, we do have to get to door 9, so I guess that connects.
Wait, did you forget already? Don't you remember what Zero said?
Find door 9.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. So, if we want to get off this
So
boat,
what we're dealing with here, Zero is a Titanic enthusiast who loves Baccarat. That's where we're at right now. Got it.
we have to make a team whose numbers have the digital root of 9.
Oh, crap. That's ominous. Are we only able to escape with like 3 to 5 people? Are we gonna have are there gonna be some people who have to be left behind or something? That's ominous.
And only the people in that team are going to make it out alive.
That's not good.
Of course. That's why it's called the Nonary game.
Okay, you gonna tell me what nonary is?
What?
Huh?
You don't know?
I don't.
Nonary means something derived from 9, or base 9.
Hey, okay. Nonary game is 9. Yes, interesting. Okay.
It's derived from the Latin prefix nona, which means 9.
Makes sense.
While we're at it, the prefix for 1 is uni. You know, like the unicorn, the horse with 1 horn. 2 is bi, like binary. Binary means composed of 2 parts. 3 is tri. I'm sure you've heard that one plenty. Like trio, triple, and triangle. You get the idea.
Yeah. You
After
don't.
that, you have quart, quinty,
Okay.
sext, septum, and so on.
Yeah, not sure you needed to tell me all that,
And
but
of course,
okay.
the prefix for 8 is octo, like octopus. It's called that because it has 8 legs. Get it?
I understand. Yes, thank you.
I see. So then Nona means 9.
So, how many of us are trapped on this ship?
That'd be 9.
And what are the bracelet numbers we have?
They go from 1 to 9.
And our time limit? How many hours did we have?
Yes, 9 is the thing. Well, of course, me playing the game called 999, I understood immediately. I guess this is more for their benefit, that they understand precisely how into the number 9 that Zero seems to be.
Zero said 9 hours.
And finally, to get out of this ship,
We need to find the door with a 9 that's hidden somewhere in the ship.
By making a team with the digital root of 9.
Lotus nodded again.
and there you have it. The number 9 is everywhere in this game. He's got a real theme of 9s for this whole thing. No wonder it's called the Nonary game.
Fair enough. Somewhere far away, Junpei heard the creak of stressed metal. It sounded almost like Zero laughing at them, or the sad, desperate scream of a pig headed to the slaughterhouse. Goodness. Okay. I've kind of gone over my limit. Let's end it here. Next time, we're going to finish this puzzle area and then move on and start whatever we're going to start next. This has been a good episode, it feels like. We opened the doors, everyone survived. Big plus. I think I'm moving through this puzzle at a pretty good pace. That's good. We learned that June loves the occult. Talked about a mummy. And learned that Santa doesn't like love, luck, something else. And unfortunately, we seem to have learned something quite sad, or ominous, I'll say, in that it seems we may only be able to escape out of here with only 3 to 5 people. So it's not good to hear. Let's hope we can somehow prevent that or work around it somehow. I don't know if we can, but we'll work on it. And there's been a lot of decisions too that I was not expecting. I don't know how consequential they're going to be. But I guess we'll find out. Okay, so this has been it felt like a good episode. Some progress made. Hope to see you next time. I've been The Worm. This has been 999. Have a good one.